What is going on, my good people? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Say That Podcast. And y'all know the motto, don't say this, say that. I want to thank everybody who tuned in my last episode with the great Najee Janey. It was an excellent conversation. And if you haven't already watched it or listened to it, please do it right now. It's on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. And as always, please follow me on Instagram. REPETE617 is my personal. And say_that_pod is the pod page. And I'm not rocking it now. I'll probably giving away who the guest is today for this episode with the jersey I'm wearing. But I do have merch available. I know fall and winter is upon us, so I got hoodies available as well. I got the Say That logo right here. It's the speech bubble logo in the middle. And it says, don't say this, say that on the sides. Please DM me your size, color, and whatever else you would like from me, and I'll be happy to oblige and give it to you. I also have shirts, hats, dad hats, and shorts available. I'm thinking of doing cuff beanies for the winter and fall, but we'll see about that. But today, ladies and gentlemen, this guest is somebody I have been wanting to sit down with and talk to for quite a while now. Like I said, if you've seen the jersey, you probably know who it is by now. You know what I mean? Please give it up for Peter Edouard, the head of Mathmatik Athletics. What's going on, man?
What's good, brother?
What's good, brother?
I can't call it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, yeah. Like I say, like the minute you was like, we gotta get together for a podcast episode. I'm like, absolutely. You kidding me?
For sure.
Yeah, this is the second time the jersey's been rocked on the on Say That. First time was me and Caveman. Coincidentally,
shout out to Caveman.
Shout out to Caveman. Love y'all, man. Coincidentally, we both wore the North End jerseys at the same thing, even though, because he's the closest, he's from New Hampshire, but the closest neighborhood that he kind of is in is the North End. So I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So definitely. But I'm going to start us off, man, because I have known about Mathmatik Athletics for a very long time now. Going on like 8 years, I think, at this point. Maybe even 7 around there. But I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, I've known about it for a long time. My first interaction with the brand was through the high school and college legend jerseys that you dropped for, I want to make sure I'm listening to everybody here. It was Patrick Ewing, the great Reggie Lewis, Dietrich Irving, the father of Kyrie Irving, Dana Barros, and Chris Herren as well. Yep. And those were something that I gotta say, it made the city shake. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was seeing the Northeastern jersey everywhere. It was on Static Selected. It was on the late great Hefe Replay. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to him. And obviously, we had Millie's rocking the Cambridge jersey. So that was I would say the ascent to what we know Mathmatiks today. Yeah. So how did that line of jerseys come about for you? And from that point to now, how are you feeling now that everything has developed for yourself?
Well, first, shout out to Dart and Sean, my business partners from Boston Legends. When we first started, this was 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, this was
real quick.
Yeah.
Sean Milk.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to him, man. Yeah, I know. I absolutely know who that is. Right, absolutely. Shout out to him. Man. Right,
the old Fort Boston.
Right in the North End too.
Yeah.
I literally, you know what? Not to interrupt, but what was crazy about that was I had Cousin Stiz concert at the House of Blues the night before it opened. Yeah. And I forget who told me, or I think they might have promoted it at the show, that it was opening right in the North End. So I'm like, I'm going to walk over there and get myself a jersey. No, I didn't get a jersey. I got a shirt. Yeah. That's what I got. I got the full Boston shirt, the Supreme. It was the purple one. It said "Stay Leaning" on the back, right? It was the white one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 2018. Dart reached out to me. No, Sean had reached out to me, and he told me about Fort Boston. I pulled up. Dart was there, and then we had conversations about doing some jerseys because I was already doing the high school jerseys. So, and the whole concept of doing the Boston Legends was really just to highlight some of the legends from the city that we felt weren't getting, the type of notoriety. Right. And, that kind of sparked this whole, legends of, us putting together the whole legends collection. So that was a grip ago, man. And yeah, we did a pop-up shop. Yep. At Fort Boston. Right. And that's when we really started to connect. And, started to tell stories on just the legends in the city, man. So,
because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't realize that Patrick Ewing went to school around here, right? Yeah, exactly. So I think that really gave good highlight to the act, because people do know Chris Herren. Yeah. Through this motivational talks. I've seen him talk, 3 different times. I've seen him on the ESPN, the 30 for 30s and all that stuff. So they knew of him, but and that was around the time, Kyrie Irving was just coming to the Celtics. So, and people didn't know that his dad played for BU.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was such a cool culmination of like everything and like gaining knowledge to like people that didn't know, like, oh, you know, Reggie Lewis went to Northeastern. Damn right he went to Northeastern. Like, you know what I mean? Right? Because I feel like, and I'm a little victim myself of this. But you know, I buy a jersey from like, because my favorite college team is Kentucky Wildcats.
Okay.
And you know, I've religiously bought those jerseys on like Alibaba, AliExpress, all that shit. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. Of course. But
Sheen.
Of course, right. Sheen now, right, exactly. But with Mathmatiks, while the jerseys are fire, the one thing that really comes to mind is the quality of them.
Yeah.
You know, these are legitimate, like NBA ready, like Mitchell and Ness authentic jerseys. So while, you know, highlighting these players important, was brand quality also very important for you?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, at first, like, you know, I'm a designer, you know what I mean? So quality is always like top of mind. And also, like, you know, I'm a throwback era. Mitchell and Ness I grew up during that whole Dipset, Fabulous, you know what I mean, era where it was like, yo, you had to have a throwback jersey. So, you know, but I never could afford it. So I was like, yo, one day, goddamn it. But yeah, the quality of the jersey was always top of mind because I didn't want to have someone pay for a jersey and it's like the numbers are falling off. You feel me? So yeah.
That's what the NBA did with those, remember the sleeve jerseys?
Yeah.
That was like the biggest problem. Like everyone already hated them going into the season. And then 3 games in, they're ripping on freaking Draymond Green, LeBron, everyone's ripping them. So they're like, how the hell are you this major corporation with all this money,
right? And
you got these cheap ass jerseys on these players?
Facts. I mean, this was recent too. Like with the baseball. I know what you're talking about. But like this happened again with the baseball
with Fanatics,
jerseys.
right? Yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, you know, with that, with Fanatics, man.
But that's why, you know, Mathmatiks is a breath of fresh air because I have a jersey. I have a hockey jersey. So I like the Bruins, but another
from Fanatics.
Yes, but the problem is with it is this: it's not a Bruins jersey; it's a Columbus Blue Jackets jersey.
Okay.
The problem is, you know how on the sides of the jerseys, like up here on the shoulders, they have the team logo, kind of stitched in. They have the logo on the side here. The issue is, what Fanatics is doing is they're kind of giving false stitching. So it's basically like screen printing
or heat pressed.
They're basically heat pressing the logos instead of actually like stitching them in. I'm like, bro, like what the hell is this?
And the price is the same as a official jersey.
Right, exactly. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
It's nasty work, as they say.
Right, exactly. So that's why it's just, you know, the monopolization of sports gear is really tough. Because I feel like, you know, while the big company wins, the consumer loses.
Yeah, 100%.
And even with these, even just not even in the MLB, the jerseys, the freaking pants, all that shit was in shambles. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? The pants were freaking see-through.
Dog,
like,
it was like lingerie. It was crazy. I was like, yo,
who's okay in this shit, right?
Who's green lighting this? Yo?
Right, like seriously. And you would think that, like, again, a major, you know, sports league, the MLB, all the money you get every year, you gotta toss these players some better jerseys. Come on.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Fanatics was working with a different manufacturer. It was like, hey, let's try to, like, you know, mass produce these, cut corners with timing and all of that. And then, because again, like if you heat press the numbers in the name, it saves you a bunch of time because it doesn't have to go through the stitching process. But at the end of the day, like if you're a customer and you want like the actual tackle 12 and you get some shit that's like one wash, the numbers off, it's like, yo, I'm not gonna go back over here.
Absolutely not. And one big problem that I actually had, I haven't bought any of those MLB jerseys, but I saw them. The numbers on the back and the name are so like little. Yeah. Like I'm like, why do you gotta squint to read this guy's name on the back of his jersey?
That's wild. So I ended up going to the Red Sox game when they played the Orioles, and I went to 47 brand, bought a jersey because we also have another jersey that we're dropping. We're dropping some baseball jerseys. And, you know, I was just trying to, do my own research. And I was like, I checked out the quality. It was hella light. Yeah. It felt like it was it felt like paper. Right. And it was $175. I was like, yo, that's wild. And it had the same type of stitching too. It was like, it was heat pressed. I was like, yeah, this is crazy, but
because like they're just surviving on name brand alone at that point. You know what I mean? They're not surviving on quality of jerseys, which is why I really emphasize how high quality jerseys these are. And while, you know, they don't really say Boston, you still get the Boston feel from it. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Good in Every Hood collection. It's the Neighborhoods collection. So, and this is something that I did want to ask. So, I'll get into the Neighborhood collection in a second. But if the Celtics didn't win in 2024, were you still going to drop these jerseys with 18, or were they going to kind of be a different, like, take?
That was the gamble. So February of last year, you know, I had the idea of like, yo, you know, they look good right now, right?
Yeah.
They look like they might make it past the playoff round. So I was like, all right, and I was the gamble. I was like, you know, let's say they win. If they were to win, and we create merch that celebrates the 18th banner, then that's, you know, we hit it out the park. So it was a 50-50 chance. Like, so
hey, paid off. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I think it was I don't want to say 50% because last year I was super confident with the Celtics, but I also know how they could be. You know what I mean? If I'm watching them this last decade or so, I'm like, I won't put anything past them. I learned my lesson this year with the freaking Knicks playoff round. You know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, we gonna sweep the Knicks, all this stuff. Celtics in 2,
like this past year, I tried not, like, even when I was doing some interviews, I tried not to say anything about 19, banner 19, because I didn't want to jinx anything. So, you know, I was just, you know, kind of keeping it low key.
Yeah.
And I was monitoring our last game because they were playing New York, and I was like, yo. Matter of fact, I wasn't expecting us to lose to New York.
Me neither, bro.
I was like, yo, because I was planning a watch party for June. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do a watch party for June.
Yeah.
New York is, you know.
Whatever,
right? Yeah. And then they took it.
That's why I keep telling people, like, yo, the first 2 games of that series, those shooting performances, I said, like, I can't put anything past them. I'm not, like, my relationship with the Celtics is a little complicated. I'm not, you know, a fair weather fan. That's my number 1 team in the city. You know, I know the most about basketball. They're the first pro game I went to, like, ever. Like, you know what I mean? So that's my team. So that's why I can confidently say I can't put anything past them. Like, I can be confident all I want, but I can't put it out of the realm of possibility. Even if it's like a 0.1% chance of it happening, it's still like the odds are like still gonna happen. And look what happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we on to this year. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So, but as we know, we've touched on already the Neighborhood collection.
Yep.
Unbelievable stuff.
Thank you,
know
bro.
What I mean?
Appreciate
like it really cultivates the culture of Boston. Like you didn't miss a single neighborhood from the city. You know what I mean? You even went all the way out to Oak Bluffs.
Yeah, I'm hip.
You know what I mean? Down to the Cape. Like that's crazy. But it is something that I personally feel has changed the city, and it's also like given the people that live there and have bought these jerseys a more sense of pride for their neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't find North End merch anywhere that like I would like, let alone incorporated with the Celtics.
Right.
Like, you know, my favorite team. And that's what Boston is. You know, we're the city that really takes pride in these sports teams. You could say what you want about New York. They got too many teams there. You know what I mean? So you two divided on all these neighborhoods. But if you're from Boston, you know, you are Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox, Celtics fans first and foremost.
Yeah.
So the question I want to ask you is, how did you kind of capture that spirit of the city with these neighborhood jerseys and even the shorts too? Because the shorts came first, right? Yeah,
the shorts
shorts came first. But then you went into jerseys. So how were you able to capture like the essence of the city with that?
I mean, for context too, because I want to be authentic too. So I'm originally from Miami. I was born in Miami, and when I first came to Boston, my first neighborhood was JP. I lived in JP.
Shout out JP, man.
And shout out to JP. Lived in JP, moved to Mattapan during my high school years. And as I became an adult, I was around Dorchester, Roxbury. So I got a chance to like see every neighborhood and get the vibe and feel for each neighborhood. So just like having that understanding and then knowing that like, yo, people are diehard Celtics fans, right? Yeah. But then also if you go and be like, yo, this person's from Dorchester, but they're from Roxbury, they'll be like they're very opinionated, and then it's like no, where they're from is part of their identity. So it's like just like me being from Miami, it's like that's part of my identity. So like I knew I was like, yo, if I could create a product that connects to someone's identity and then also align it with something that they love, like the Celtics, I was like, yo, that's magic right there. So that's what we were able to like create with the jerseys, because it's like, yo, people love their neighborhood, people love their hometown team, and if you create a product that that merges both of them, it's a wrap. So
right, absolutely. And you sold out of these quick. Like the shorts, first of all, went flying. I know I keep pestering you to make about that shorts too, but those flew out, and then obviously the jerseys flew out. Like, and every time I post this, I'm like, where can I get them? I'm like, bro, it's sold out. Like, you know what I mean? And going back to how you said about these price points of like these cheaper looking jerseys, these are some affordable. You make affordable stuff at high quality, top of the line products. Like, what I mean? It's definitely like a very good sustainable business model.
Yeah. So just going back to what I was saying before, when Mitchell and Ness dropped their authentic jerseys, they were going for $300.
Still do.
Like, some of them still go for $300. So I was like, yo, and I didn't like the swingman jerseys.
Yeah,
remember the swingman jerseys?
Yeah, I don't like I like the authentic.
Like, it feels real,
but it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's like having a Diet Coke. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, give me the real thing. But no, I was like, yo, no, I want to give folks like the authentic feel. Like even with the shorts are literally like the NBA type shorts. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna just keep it at that quality and price point, and just share it with the city. And last year, bro, it was me and my wife like packaging everything. We didn't even like, when I tell you I didn't go out last summer, I did not go out last summer. We had sent so many units out, and I had finally seen one person wearing the jersey and shorts. So I didn't really get to enjoy the summer like that last year. This summer is a little different because we ended up expanding and getting a fulfillment center, and they started helping us out with just like shipping some of the product. But last year was crazy, man. It was
like you
wild.
couldn't even enjoy the Celtics winning. Like, you know what I mean? Put it that way. Like, did you get to the parade at all?
Nah.
Wow. See, like that's how busy you were. You know what I mean?
So what we were trying to do was, we started the photo shoot.
Yeah.
We did the photo shoot in May. And what I was trying to do was I was trying to map out the parade, and I was gonna do advertising on like some of the locations, some of the buildings.
Yeah.
During the parade.
Yeah.
So we'd get like some of that press. But our posters didn't come in, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I was just like, whatever. But wasn't able to make it to the parade, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like, listen, you always stay in one step ahead though of everything. You know what I mean? You're always thinking ahead no matter how good or bad the Celtics do. So that's something to be you know what I'm saying? That's a good business mindset right there. And like how you mentioned, you got the baseball jerseys coming soon. When can we expect them? Because I know we're in the last month right now of baseball.
Yeah.
So is it going to kind of be towards more next year?
Oh, no, we're definitely dropping it. Like, I want to say sometime this month. So are you familiar with because you've been to our watch parties, no?
I have not, unfortunately.
Okay, so we're,
But I was going to ask you about the watch parties.
Yeah, so we got the watch parties lined up, and, the last watch party we did at High Street Place, we had like 500 people.
I did see. It was very packed there. I saw that. Yeah.
So this watch party we're planning to do with for the baseball team for the Red Sox. So yeah.
Okay, I'm with that. No, absolutely, because now that I moved into Boston, I'm around a lot more. So I'll definitely I'm gonna be at every watch party pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I will be there.
You heard it here first.
100%. Yes. If I'm not there, then that's on me, and y'all gotta call me out on that for real. However, digging kind of deep on the Mathmatiks lore, I did discover, and I feel like this is something that kind of flies under the radar with collections that you've done.
Yeah.
Was the By Any Means Necessary collection. You know what I mean? Where you took, inspiration from Malcolm X, Jackie Robinson, and the NWA's influence on sportswear culture.
Yep.
And you made the Malcolm X logo on the take of the Raiders logo, and you kind of harpened on how while they may not be a fan of those teams, the fashion of it is what really helped push the culture for that. So what was your inspiration for starting that line of
So crazy. This was actually, I designed that 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, a grip ago. You know, my middle school, the Lewis Middle School is in Roxbury, and it's off of Dale Street. And that's where Malcolm X, I think his sister stayed off of Dale Street. And, you know, growing up, like I'd always like read some of his books and stuff. And I looked up to Malcolm, and I always felt like out of all of our, Black political figures, like I connected with Malcolm more. And then also growing up, listening to hip hop, I liked NWA. And then also just like how all their content, their video was like, it was wild. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, I wanted to take that and then Malcolm's, by any means philosophy and merge that together and created that whole Raiders insignia. And I just honestly, I liked how it made me feel when I was in public. I used to get crazy looks. I'm on a green line and folks are like, "Oh, this is crazy," but I liked it. You know what I mean? No, and for me, it was a form of, I'll say, a political statement. You know what I mean? Because again, it was like by any means necessary. You had Malcolm X, and you already know what Malcolm X stood for. So yeah, that was kind of like my way of like, showing my personality through art and sport. And yeah, I did that 2012. But me coming back out with, like me reintroducing it this was 2000. Damn, when did I do that? That was last year? Last February.
Yeah, so it was at the start of last year, right? Because I've seen Latrell James model all the clothes for it, right?
At that point, I was, trying to connect with some of the artists in the city. And, I started another company called Signal Digital.
Okay.
And from there, I was really trying to figure out, like, how do I tell stories using my art and then connecting it with other creatives to, tell their stories. So the By Any Means Necessary campaign started from that. And then also me being a fan of Latrell Sprewell. Shout out to Latrell Sprewell.
Shout out to Sprewell right there. Yeah, you know what
Latrell
I mean?
James. Yeah. Me being a fan of his work, I was like, yo, let's connect. And we basically was like, what does By Any Means Necessary mean to you? So we created a campaign using some of his music and stuff like that, and then put that out. And that really started the whole creative side of like us doing storytelling, using using other art forms or whatever, and blending it into something that I felt was like mathematics. So but again, the lessons learned from that By Any Means Necessary campaign helped influence like the neighborhood collection. So yeah.
No, that's awesome, man, because with clothing, it gets a little like I don't want to say weird is the proper term, but it gets a little like wishy-washy, I'll say, because most people, when they do a clothing brand, there isn't like a backstory behind it. There's just like, I wanted nice streetwear, or I want, these nice, fancy ball gowns, or whatever the hell these famous people wear and stuff like that. But like with Mathmatiks, there's a story behind every collection. And all of it always comes back to Boston. Like, you can't say that about, like, anything. Even the one jersey you did for New York. Yeah. The Bed-Stuy.
Yep.
Is it Stuy or Stuy?
Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy, okay.
Bed-Stuyvesant. Yeah.
Bed-Stuyvesant, okay. Because I've never understood, I go to New York all the time. I've never understood how to say that. But you still encapsulate what these people grow up on and, like, what they, may have experienced or what the city means to them. And a lot of people may not even know this, that Malcolm X had a big part in Boston.
Yeah.
Like, most people didn't even know that he lived here. Same with MLK. So to really connect that with, all these historical black politicians and figures, you're really doing something that no one else is doing currently with anything. Like, you would think that, like, someone in New York would think of that idea, but they just haven't.
Yeah.
So it's like, and if they do, well, it's like,
right.
That's cool, but Mathmatiks did it first. You know what I mean? Right.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I've been doing this since I was like 19.
Wow.
And when I first started, I was working security at New Balance. Okay. So I was able to, get a basic understanding of what product looked like, how storytelling is involved with, fashion, and then like really like how to sell product. Like without a story, you can't really sell anything. It's just, you know, a shirt with stitching or, you know, whatever on it. You know what I mean? So I knew for us, like it made sense to tell a story, have something that means, like I can't just have a logo on our jersey and expect it to you know, fly off the shelf.
Right.
Like if you have your neighborhood on your jersey, it means something. Like there's stories that you can tell, like, yo, I remember when I was at freaking Monica's, you know what I mean? Or going to Mike's or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was able to identify like, yo, you got to tell a story. Like no one's going to buy your stuff. Like, again, it might be a cool design and it's all right, cool. I bought it because it was a cool design, but like, what's the story? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, stories, having a story is important.
You know, is the thing with Boston, and you're talking to all these rappers from these different areas. It's, you know, they're very prideful of their neighborhoods. You know, I'm prideful in North End, you know what I mean? But I don't know, like, what makes a person from, like, Dorchester or Roxbury, Mattapan prideful about their location. I have to learn that. So it not only does it do a good job, like, connecting the city, it does a good job with helping other people understand other neighborhoods of the city's stories. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like because... And I've said this a lot on previous episodes, but when I was growing up in the North End, you know, I never really went past the Prudential. Like that, like from the area of North End all the way to like the Back Bay, that like one big circle. That's as far as I went. It just was what I did, you know. So, but now, you know, I'm learning the stories of like, you know, JP, you know, Hyde Park, you know, Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan. It's like, wow, like I missed out on like a lot of like cool shit. That like, you know, I'm not trying to infringe upon, but I would just love to learn about. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, my ex-co-host, you know, brought me over there sometimes. He would even tell me, like, oh, yeah, this is where this rapper grew up. You know, that's what I'm like, wow. Like, oh, shit. Like, and it kind of, like, culturally shocked me. Because it's like, I'm, 10, 15 minutes away from the North End on train? Like, you know what I mean? And all this shit was just right here. It's like, wow. So if I had to give a message to anybody, it would be, while you're in Boston, to expand your horizons.
No, 100%.
Because, and this is something that, it doesn't irritate me a lot, but it's like, you know, why are you doing that? So when usually I see like TikToks or like IG reels of people saying, oh, Boston's this gorgeous city, they only do it in that big circle. They literally do not go past Fenway. It's like, oh, this is Boston this summer. I'm like, I comment, I'm like, all this stuff you're saying is like within 1 square mile of each other, maybe 2 square miles of each other. It's like, and like, so that's why when you hear, you know, someone like a Najee Janie take pride in being from Roxbury, it's like, yeah, you wear that on your chest because, you know, Boston's known for history and sports, but like it's so much deeper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is so surface level that once you dive into the other stuff, you're like, wow, like I missed out.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks too, man, like, because again, you know, with media, you tend to only get one narrative of what, you know, Boston is, what Boston's like. And, you know, I used to have a lot of security jobs. So I used to work security at BU.
Okay.
And I used to get a lot of kids who are, you know, black and brown kids, and they never go past like Beacon Street or whatever, Beacon Street. Yeah. And, you know, some of them were like, damn, where could I get like Jamaican food, or, you know, where could I get like Haitian food or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, you got to leave campus. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But also I was just looking like, you know, I think now we're doing a better job of like telling, you know, where to go in Boston, like actual tour guide. But I think, you know, it's our job as people from these communities to like tell the stories and highlight certain businesses and stuff like that. So, and, you know, that's kind of why I started the campaign with Good in Every Hood, because it has the ability to like, you know, tell these stories, not just in Boston, but literally like anywhere. And, you know, and you and I spoke about this before we did the recording, neighborhood tours, right? So like recently we did a Airbnb Mathmatik Athletic neighborhood tour that's going to be highlighting some of the iconic Boston sports areas and stuff. And, you know, that gives us the opportunity to like take people to certain parts of the city. For instance, Slade's.
Right.
Slade's was a establishment that was owned by Bill Russell. And food's amazing over there. And again, like there's a whole bunch of other spots in the city that a lot of folks don't even know about. You know what I mean? Wally's, like the jazz club.
I'm still getting hip to a lot of them. You know what I mean? Like it's how it is. It isn't Slade's like right near Northeastern? Like literally, like right. I was looking up, like, yo, where are these in like relation to like where I'm at? I'm like, bro, it's right by the MFA. That's like right there. Like, it's just crazy how legendary stuff is in your backyard and you wouldn't even notice it. And I got to give actually a special shout out to the Celtics for making those like Slade jerseys when they had it had the cursive.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you. This was like the City Connect jersey.
Was this like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, it was like right after Bill died. It was
that like, the campaign with they had Jeff Replay?
No, that was this. So this campaign came out after he passed. So I think this was either 2023.
Okay.
I want to say 2023 because I haven't been liking the City Connects the last couple of years, and I remember saying to people like the one they did to honor Bill Russell with the Slade's cursive writing that was like my favorite one. They do have a great one this year, but that hasn't been announced yet.
Oh, you saw it?
It you know what I love about it? It's white, so it's not green, it's white.
Yeah.
And the lettering is gold.
Ah.
So you know what it kind of reminds me of? They did a jersey. I don't know if they've ever worn this jersey. They may have worn it for like one game. I have a Kevin Garnett jersey in it. It's it was like this, but it says Boston in all gold, but it's green. So it's kind of a reverse of it. Instead of white, it's instead of green, it's white.
Yep.
But I love it. Like, you know what I mean? It looks dead clean. It's gonna look so nice on like, everything. But it's one thing that with these City Connect jerseys, while some of them are hit or miss, they do a good job of is connecting the city.
Yeah.
So I do got to give a shout out to them for doing that. Despite, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're gonna move on. But however, you did talk about the watch parties. You know what I mean? And those are very important events in the city because while it does unite Celtics fans, it also brings the neighborhoods together. I got to give a shout out to Herren for always hosting them too as well. I just met him for the first time doing the Airbnb commercial. He's a good dude. You know what I'm saying? He's the type of dude like you want as like your bouncer or something like that. You know what I mean? Say Jack like that. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But so when did you decide to start these watch parties and kind of what was the idea for starting them?
Yeah. So, this was going off of the success of the shorts. So like towards last year, August was a wrap, and then I'm like, yo, I can't sell shorts. In Boston in the winter. So I'm like, I was like, yeah, what else can we do to extend this whole neighborhood collection? And then I was like, yo, October 18th, that's when they were doing, or October 22nd, they were doing the ring ceremony. I was like, that's a perfect time to actually do some type of, activation. So I was like, we'll do a watch party. So, we connected with Dorchester Brewery. And then at that time, Reebok came through and partnered with us. And we did some giveaways.
Nice.
And then, I was like, yo, this makes sense to do watch parties for, the neighborhood collection. And, just creating a dope vibe, dope experience for people who, didn't want to go to the game or for whatever reason.
Hey, listen, tickets are expensive. You got to give them a good place to go to if they want to watch the game.
You know what I mean? So I was like, just wanted to create a vibe that could, at least like match what the arena was going to provide. So, yeah, we did that, man. And it was a wrap, bro. Like, just the feedback, like, people showing love and reposting and just chilling. Like, I thought it was a success, and now it's part of our business, man. Like, every time like there's a high profile game, we want to do some type of activation, bring people out. And then, as I said before, like, we're extending it to baseball now. So
right,
yeah.
Because like I said, the city needs more of that.
Yeah.
Like, and I got to give a shout out to Green Runs Deep too. He puts on watch parties as well. But
shout out to GRD.
Of course, we need we need more of that, you know, because that's how we build a fan base. That's how we build connections. It's like, you know, we can do all these events we want, but like, what's the meaning behind it? What's the purpose? What are you getting out of this? And, you know, what I would, you know, people do get out of this is the minute they leave them, they talk about how awesome it was, how like they met so many people there and stuff like that. They're connecting with all these people, you know, they're in all these like different group chats. They're talking to people they never met before. And like, it's really like a beautiful thing. And I know when people like see, like the casual will see that, it's like, oh, it's just a watch party. Like, no, like go to it.
No, it's a community.
Experience it, right? It's a really like, you've built it into like this community event of just like, not only just Celtics fans, but like just people from the city as well.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I got to give a good shout out to you for that. And I will see you at the next one. I promise you that. Yeah, I got to get there. But like I said at the start of this episode, Najee Janey was my last podcast episode.
Yeah.
And we had talked about this on his episode, but the unbelievable cipher that you put together between himself, Milkshot Benedict, and the legend Ed OG. So talk to me about the idea behind that and how it just all came together.
Yeah, nah, big shout out to all of them. Freaking, yo, like, it's been a crazy year, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is all a recap of literally since the start of 2024 till now.
It's been a crazy year, man. And how this even came about, we did a holiday collection last year. And from that photo shoot, the family that was in the photo shoot, shout out to Danielle and Keith, once we posted that, someone from Roxbury Community College was like, yo, how could we work? How could we do something together? And that came, like, we, you know, brainstormed and figured out, like, all right, let's do a Reggie Lewis throwback jersey commemorating the 30th year anniversary of the Reggie Lewis Center. That was January. So we're planning, trying to figure out, like, all right, how could we, you know, make this like this grand, you know, thing and create, you know, create content that would, one, honor Reggie Lewis, and then also honor like the fact that it's a staple in the community.
Absolutely.
So we came up with the campaign From Roxbury to the World, and really what that meant was how being at a place like, you know, the Roxbury Community Center, how it gave you the same type of, you know, courage and you know, the heart to be able to like have impact anywhere you're at. So we did that, and then part of the campaign was us, you know, doing photo shoots, posting some stuff. We did some street guerrilla marketing with Bakuru, and that was just like the marketing piece, and then, you know, us trying to figure out, like, all right, you know, because we're a hip hop brand,
of course, and first and foremost,
yeah,
right,
of course. So it's like I wanted to make sure like we had some type of content that spoke to that. So I reached out to Milkshot Benedict, and he was the one that spearheaded like all of the connections and stuff. Yeah. So shouts out to him. So he was able to get what's his name, Ed OG, and Najee on it, and it was a dope track, man. And I was like, yo, this is what it's about. You know, we're commemorating, you know, Roxbury Community College and Reggie Lewis. And we want y'all to just like highlight and just, you know, represent for Roxbury. And, you know, Nicole Nerds directed it.
Shout out to Nicole Da Silva. Absolutely. Yeah. That's right. I was like, I know someone I know directed it. I wasn't sure if it was her or Boogie, but I knew it was Nicole, right? Yeah. Okay.
And she directed it. And, it was, you know, it was iconic.
It really was.
It was iconic. Yeah. And it was like, we shot it at the the Malcolm X Park.
Yes.
And, you know, the, Pro Black and the rest of his team, they did this beautiful mural on the court. So they were, you know, we were able to capture some of that, a piece of Roxbury. And yeah, man, overall, it was beautiful, man. And I'm glad that I was able to say that I'm a part of that. I was able to contribute, you know, to Roxbury. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Because I always want to contribute to, like, you know, the community.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And
in any which way possible, right.
So this was dope, man. And I'm like, you know, so thankful for the opportunity to even work with the Reggie Lewis family. I actually got a chance to meet Donna Lewis during the New Edition street rename, and so it was really an honor to just like show her like how much we appreciated what Reggie meant to the city.
Like that's what people got to understand about Boston when they come here. No matter how long it's gonna be, people are always gonna take pride in Reggie Lewis.
Yeah,
they'll always take pride in Len Bias even too as well. Bill Russell, absolutely. Bill Russell is the greatest winner in American sports history, and I will say that till the end of the time, and no one will ever take his spot. So when you do stuff like that, they're getting a better history lesson than if they would go to a museum.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's how I look at it like that. But I do got to ask, is there any other ciphers playing? Because I know there's some dudes from Dorchester, Mattapan, JP that I think you could do. Yeah.
I mean, 100%, like I said, I feel like at our core, we are, you know how like Microsoft has, they have its own operating system.
Yes.
I feel like with us, Mathmatik, hip hop is our operating system. So for us, I want to incorporate ciphers a lot. Especially when we start, collaborating with more creatives, like whatever the like hip hop element is, whether it be graffiti or hip hop or breakdance, like I want to make sure we tap into those elements. So like I do see us doing more ciphers. We actually plan on dropping like a call out, where it's like Edo G, Jane, Najee, and Milkshaw, they already did the first cipher. Now it's like, yo, who else? Right. Here's the track. You know what I mean? Submit it, and then let's let the city talk or whatever. Right. So I do see us doing that and extending that to different neighborhoods. So yeah,
hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in the North End, we don't got a lot of rappers. I got one. I know of one dude who makes music that I'm friendly with, but we're not known for rappers. You know what I mean? We're known for the Sinatra type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The soprano type of singing. All the marching bands, all that. So, but even still, it's like when I got this jersey, I'm like, damn, like this is fucking fire. Like this is heat. Like I'm like, I've worn this so many times. I've worn it 2 Celtics games. Like I have Celtics jerseys and I wear this.
I saw you on the was it the commercial? It was a Celtics commercial. This was like on.
Oh no! You know what it was? It was. I know what you're talking about.
It was their IG or something.
Yeah, it was when Tatum went down.
Yeah.
The next game.
Yep.
We went to a GRD watch party. I was wearing it then, and I said I didn't know this guy was a big time filmmaker on IG, and I got ready to go all of New York. Go back to your $5,000 a month closet on 54th Street, and it was like, oh, go Celtics. But I was wearing it for that.
Remember that.
Yo, I was. And I was wearing it when the Celtics posted the get well messages to Tatum. I was wearing it for that too. Yeah. So like literally that whole week was like, whoa, like I'm like low key like in all this Celtics thing. Like I ain't even wearing Celtics jerseys. That's why. But you know what was cool about that?
Yeah.
A lot of people hitting me up asking me, where do you buy that jersey?
That's crazy.
And I was like, bro, it's sold out.
That's crazy.
If they do reruns, I'll let you know. But right now you can't get it anywhere right now. So, but that's the point. You know what I mean? Like if you have a brand from the city, I'm going to put on, you know what I'm saying? I may not be from these neighborhoods, but, you Boston bred, you Boston pure. Like, I mean, you take pride in where you're from, and it shows. So it's so easy to support. It's not like, what can he do for me? It's like, no, it literally goes back to what can I do for the city? Yeah. So that's how I personally look at those things. But I'm glad you reminded me that, because there was this thing on Twitter, and it's this chick, right? And she posted like, oh, I just moved into New York, blah, blah. Her bedroom's really fucked up. And obviously, because she's living in New York, So what it was like, you open the bedroom door, her bed's right there. Yeah. But then she has to cross her bed to get to the desk because there's no room. And I literally was like, everyone from New York kept commenting like, oh, Boston's the same way. I'm like, okay, it might be the same way, but I could get 900 square feet for $5,000 a month as opposed to 300. So the price may be the same, but the quality of what you're getting ain't.
New York, like their apartments, especially in the city, is
they're
like
notoriously known for being like. That's why I said
closet.
That's literally what it came from. Because anytime I've seen people complain about the apartments in New York, that's the number one thing is how much room you're getting for how much you're spending. And I'm like, was I wrong? Not really. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was right. But anyways, we move on from that. and he had mentioned this guy's name at the start of this episode, but for my money, he is one of, if not the most important Bostonians we have currently in Dart Adams. You know, he has taught me, and I haven't like officially met him face to face yet, but just seeing all the shows he's been on, what he's talked about for Boston on these shows, I have gained so much knowledge from just listening to him and like, you know, reading some of his work and like looking at all the stuff he's done from the city. So how did it feel, you know, or how does it feel, you know, still, you know, building that relationship with Dart and having like a true voice from the city on your team like that?
Nah, he's been an incredible support in terms of, you know, making sure whatever story that we do tell is accurate. So again, like when I was thinking about the neighborhood collection, I was like, yo, there's only one person that knows so much about everything, and it was Dart. And I was like, you know, again, like my working relationship with him from the Boston Legends podcast, you know, I already knew like he was, you know, a human encyclopedia. So, you know, when it came to this neighborhood collection, it was like, yo, he's a great person to have on your team because he, you know, he's well read and he knows literally everything about Boston.
Even like the music industry as a whole. Like my first interaction with Dart this is like 2016, 2017. Some dude like quote tweeted him because he either got into a beef with Adam 22, which obviously if you get in a beef with Dart's right 99% of the time. You know what I mean? Or it was like because he this is what I love about him. He always makes sure the rap facts are accurate. So if he's like, if they claim an album dropped on this day so many years ago, he'll be like, nope, that's false. It actually was this many years ago on this day. You know what I'm saying? So that's the knowledge you need, you know, in the rap game. But I was like, damn, like, where's this dude from? He's like, oh, he's from Boston? And he's like, been on Complex, you know, all these websites writing about rap and hip-hop. I'm like, damn, like, I gotta, like, study up by him because he's gonna teach me so much shit that I wouldn't even know about. But, like I said, you know, definitely, like, currently one of the most, I think, like I said, you can make a case for the most important Bostonians we got currently in Dart Adams. Like I said, human encyclopedia, human museum. Like, you know what I mean? Just the way he tells stories about the city, it kind of reminds me of how Anthony Bourdain would like articulate like his travels. You know what I mean? Very well spoken, very descriptive. Like you feel like you're living through his experiences when Dart Adam talks in a way. Like, you know, it's
100%.
It's just miraculous that we have that mind in the city with us. And honestly, for anyone who has, because I know he was in an HBO documentary about
Celtic City.
It was Celtic City, yes, but there was another one about the cop murder.
The Stewart.
The Stewart, right. How they framed him and all that stuff. And just the way he was talking about it was like you felt like that happened like yesterday. You know, and because that happened before I was born. So I didn't even know that was a thing until they come out with this documentary about it. But of course, to see Dart Adams in, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna learn some shit. Here, right? So absolutely. Big shout out to Dart Adams, absolutely. So to move on to like the Celtics, you know, we're in an interesting spot.
Yeah,
we're in a very interesting spot. You know, we don't know what this season's gonna look like. We can have an idea, we have our predictions, but we literally don't know. Like I felt like these last 2 years were like, even 2024 when it started, like winning the title. You know, easy money. Even last year, he was like, I told everyone, I'm like, bro, we're gonna three-peat. Fuck you mean repeat? We three-peating. But yeah, he so. I don't know. What do you think we're gonna do this year, man? I'm so confused by it all too. You know, we're like a month almost away from the season opener.
You know, Tatum's out, obviously.
Yes, for the year.
Brown recently had surgery.
But he's all set. Yeah, he's all good.
If I were, you know, working at the Celtics, right, I would solely just focus on the fans this year.
I like that.
Like,
no, yeah, absolutely.
I would just focus on, like, the fan experience because will we make it to the finals? Probably not. Right. Do you want to risk Tatum like to come back sooner? No. So yeah, I just focus more so on fan engagement and try to just like, yo, we might not make it this year.
We'll have a good time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now I got to ask, that's a great question. How do you think they should do that if they're going to go that route? Let alone the Mathmatiks watch parties. You know what
I mean, partner with Mathmatik Athletics. Right. I mean, no. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think, you know, they've been doing a lot in terms of like connecting with folks from the city, a lot of creatives. Right. They've worked with Herren.
Yep.
I think they need to do more of that. I feel like, you know, what the Celtics need to do is focus more so on the super fans, and then create like dope experiences really. Because again, like, and I've seen this like across different franchises where it's like, you know, the fans are being priced out. Like you're getting like Fortune 500 companies who are buying like all the seats and, you know.
The Loge is basically businessmen wearing their jerseys over their freaking, you know, button-down suits.
Nasty
and I hate
work.
that look.
It's disgusting.
I despise that look. I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, that sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Fuck that.
Like if you're going to wear a suit, wear a suit. Like,
right. But no, they're wearing like their casual office wear. Like, not like a suit jacket, but like under their, like they put the jersey above their like button-down long sleeve that they would wear like the office. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like you're so clearly just in it for the vibes, like, you know what I mean? But like you said, like, you know, the pricing out of fans is so tough because you should have all your super fans in eye level at all times. They shouldn't be in the balcony. You know what I'm saying? They should be in the Loge or lower. You know, I get the economics of it and the whole business side of it, but that's a problem, like you said, with the whole NBA right now. Like, and this is not a harrowing story, but something I still think about. I went to Miami in January 2024, right? Because my friend had never been, he wanted to go.
Yeah.
And the Celtics was playing the Heat down there, so we're like, oh, let's go for that. Totally, right? We're up in kind of like above the lodge, so it's not the balcony, it's like the lodge. It's like whatever that is called.
The roof.
So for some of them,
I'm
right?
playing.
But and I'm looking down at it, and we're at tip-off. The Loge is like half empty.
Yeah.
Like there's no one there, and it's all. And if they're there, they're all like, you know, these IG models or like these celebs, and so I'm like, damn, like, do y'all got real fans here, or do y'all just get people that want to go for the aesthetic? And I'm thinking to myself, like, if this was Boston, right? First of all, I don't care who we were playing, right?
It would have been packed.
Yeah, it would have been packed for the freaking Charlotte Hornets game. It would have been packed. But like, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, damn, like, when I think of like die-hard fan bases, the Celtics are like undisputably number one. Second, I'd probably say like the Knicks or the Lakers.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, it's the Celtics all the way.
It's a legacy franchise.
All of that. And that's why I think of a team like the Wiz or like the Hornets. Like, do y'all got like these fan bases like that connect with each other? Because probably not. And it shouldn't matter depending on team success. Because at the start of the 2010s, after we lost to the Lakers in the 2010 finals, we were going through a rebuild. You know what I'm saying? We weren't really like that good until like 2017, 2018. So for those fans that were in those trenches years, like, do y'all even exist?
Yeah.
You know? And I get like some of these franchises like the Hornets, you know, the Wiz, even the Blazers now, like, you know, they suck. Yeah. So I get it's hard to be a fan, but like that's when you need it most. Like my best times as a Celtics fan has come in those down years because I can name all the random ass players we got. Yeah. I can name like what happened, who had this stat line, because that's what being a fan's about. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think New Yorkers are like that too.
They are. No, that's why I said like, you know, I'll give them second place. I can maybe give the Lakers kind of like, you know, third or second too, because the thing with New York and LA is like they do have a lot of celeb fans, but at least they're diehards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I can respect. And in Boston, you know, we got Mark Wahlberg, I guess, you know, Marky Mark and Donnie.
But no, like if you look, like, well, New York hasn't won anything in a while
since 1973.
Yeah. So like, but LA has championships. So it's like, you know, when I think about legacy franchises, like, you know, minus the fact that, you know, New York, the Knicks haven't won as many titles as either Boston or the Lakers, they still have like diehard fans. Just as you said, like their fans suffered through a lot.
Yes. And I think they kind of still do a little bit, right? Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think, you know, going back to what we were saying, I think, you know, the Celtics probably need to focus more on like creating some type of fan
I want to see a block party.
Something.
Like how the Sun did a great one.
Yeah,
Like,
that was dope.
I was actually walking to the train station through that, but so I couldn't actually go. But that was dope. And that's not even a Boston team. That's like,
hey, shout out to So Phenomenal Agency. My homegirl put that together.
there you go. Shout out to them.
Shout out to Finna.
But I was like, wow, this is so well done. And obviously, you had Jaylen Brown there with 741, and like I'm like, damn, because I mean, the Celtics did one for the finals, but I get that was the finals, and like you kind of have to do one, make it a big deal. But like, even some like random game against the Mavs, let's just say, for example, like just
they need to. I think they need to. They need to lean in more on like fan.
They could definitely be a lot more interactive. And it's not just simple. Oh, like. Peyton Pritchard signing here and stuff like that. The signings are, people aren't there to celebrate with other people. They're just there to meet, a Celtics player and get their autograph signed. Like, but if you do like a nice block party, like that's why I can actually go back to that Airbnb commercial. That was all Celtics fans coming together for something dope.
Yep.
But that wasn't even the Celtics putting that together. Yeah. So the Celtics franchise itself could learn from like what like you're doing. You know what I mean? Can learn from what GRD is doing with these watch parties and get-togethers. That's how we grow fan bases. You can be a fan of the team all you want. You can find a player you like and be a fan of the team all you want. Yep. But how are you interacting with other fans that actually help you grow as a fan?
Yeah, and I think that's where the opportunity comes in for brands like myself, where it's like, there's a gap where these big franchises aren't tackling this problem because they don't have to, because it's like, look, we charge freaking $200 for nosebleeds.
Yeah, y'all gonna come regardless.
You know what I mean? So you guys y'all will come, but in terms of like creating a space for fans to like engage and be a dope vibe, like. All right. Anyone who wants to interrupt or disrupt that, it's yours. So I was like, let me see what I could do. You know what I mean?
And you do it well, my friend. So
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. So the last question I'm going to ask you is, what is the future holding for Mathmatiks Athletics?
Yeah.
Let alone the stuff we already talked about, like the Red Sox stuff, all that stuff. Like kind of like leaning into like this Celtics year. Obviously, we touch on the watch parties, but like, is there anything else that like you'd like to tease or maybe say?
Yeah, I mean,
you're looking forward to.
I think next year we have a whole bunch of things lined up. I'm excited about our, a bunch of our activations.
I like you call them activations. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're getting active.
We get activated, man. There's a lot of stuff happening next year. But I think in terms of Mathmatik, a lot of expansion. We did a soft launch in New York, and then we plan to be in Miami, LA, come later this fall/winter. So I'm excited, man. Just trying to.
But see, I like how obviously you're from Miami, but you grew up in Boston. But you're not gonna gatekeep just doing them in the city. You want to go to like where all these other big sports franchises are. And that's something that a lot of people may not even think about doing. But it's like, like you said, while Boston, I feel like, is the most prideful, there's other also prideful cities in the United States.
It's a formula that works in Boston that could work in New York, Detroit, Philly, Miami. So I think, for us, like I have like I'm very ambitious with my goals, and I've always wanted to hit that, that number. Which again,
I know you just did the Red Sox jerseys, but those the neighborhoods in New York and Yankees colors would go kind of hard.
Yeah,
I mean, you might have to get creative with it because it kind of stops at a certain area when they get to the Mets.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean, right? Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about when they have all these teams.
8 teams,
right? You know what I mean? So, yeah. How about some Patriots or Bruins Mathmatiks jerseys?
Yeah, we got that in the works, man.
I like to hear that.
Like in terms of watch parties, man, we're gonna cover all. We're gonna cover all sports, and another thing too, I'll drop this is new information, man. So I'll drop it on this podcast. All right,
I'm excited. What is it?
So we just cracked a deal with Boston Legacy. Ooh. So this is our first pro team that will be like we have an official license agreement with them. So we'll be dropping some Boston Legacy merch for 2026. And then going into FIFA 2026, we got a bunch of things lined up. So hella excited about that.
And I just thought about that. If anyone has merch in the city, whatever you're doing, you gotta hit next year. Next year is a prime year for that. Like, I sell souvenirs and stuff like that at my family's business. I'm already thinking ahead to that.
Yeah, 2026 is going to be big.
Right. The summer of 2026 is going to be crazy here. Like, we've never gone a World Cup here.
Yeah.
Ever. This is, and granted, it's not in the city, it's at Gillette, but still, they're going to be here. As if tourists already are here for, like, just a Red Sox and Dodgers game.
Right.
The countries we get here, they're gonna show up.
Yeah.
Don't get me no doubt about it. So if you are watching this and and quick, Boston Legacy is what team?
It's the soccer team. It's the women's soccer.
It's the women's soccer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so they start next year.
Yeah. So they're starting this year. They're starting their season. They'll be playing at
That's the
Gillette
team
Stadium.
that's got the Swans on it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Okay. Because I kept seeing everyone. I'm like, what is that? Like, because I know Boston's got these random ass teams. Like, we got a pro lacrosse team, we got a freaking pro tennis team and shit. So like,
Yeah. So we got a bunch of things lined up. Just trying to finish the fourth quarter. I sound like an NBA player. Just trying to finish the fourth quarter, right? Focus on
got to get back on defense. So I'm saying, Doris, you're talking to Doris Bird. We got to get better. You know what I mean, man?
But now we're just trying to finish the fourth quarter.
Yeah, coach going to make these nice adjustments, and we ready for the full quarter. It's like, Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
that's hilarious. All right. Before we get out of here, Pete, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, a special shout out, and obviously link to and say where everyone can follow you and find all this Mathmatiks here right now? Please do to the good people say that.
Good people. I just want to shout everyone out. My family, my wife, my business partners, my fulfillment center, man, who's been like delivering all the all the freaking the
That's
jerseys.
That's your 6 man right there. You know what I mean?
For real. We just moved into a new spot, so shouts out to them. We out here, man. So we about to. Oh, I forgot to mention. So we literally just switched our shipping model. Okay. So you no longer have to wait 3 weeks for a jersey. So now we have majority of our merch on hand. So everything is shipped from like either between 2 to 5 days. So that's like another, like I got to make another post on that. But yeah, man.
Love it. Definitely love it. And where can they find you too for Mathmatiks on all the socials and all that stuff?
At Mathmatik_athletics and then www.mathmatikathletics.com.
Get there. And I want to say, listen, before we get out of here, I need to see all y'all at these watch parties because I'm kicking myself for not going to them. But now that I'm in Boston more, I'm going to them. So I better see you there. I know I'm going to see my dog Caveman there.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure I'm going to see the Boston Big Four guys there as well. So however you guys can get there, y'all got to get there. Because when I tell you you're missing out, you're missing out. Learn from me. Don't miss out. I'm already pissed I'm missing out. So, you know what I'm saying? But still, Pete, I want to thank you so much, man, for coming on this episode. You know what I mean?
Already.
It was one of these episodes that, I have a lot of looking forward to episodes, but I do talk to a lot of hip hop artists and stuff like that, but it's good to break and actually highlight somebody who's making a real important impact on the culture through clothing and storytelling as that. So I want to thank you
for
making the drive up to Beverly and coming up here. You're welcome anytime you want to do anything. And whenever you drop those jerseys, those Red Sox jerseys, let me know first.
Say less.
Because I need that North End jersey right away.
Say less.
You know what I mean? But ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 108 to Say That. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Like I said at the start of the episode, please go watch my recent episodes. It's a full catalog of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the best bingeable podcasts you can ever watch. It's all on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. And if you're on YouTube, you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you do it. We're trying to grow this podcast even more, and with your help, we will do that. But as always, you can follow me. My personal page on Instagram is REPETE617. And the Say That page is say_that_pod. You know what I'm saying? We got the double Pete's on this episode.
Yep.
So from both of us right here. That's never happened before on this podcast, by the way. Never, ever. So from 4 of us here, y'all know the motto. It's don't say this, say that. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.